We are living in a volatile political environment. You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorable.
Come on, man.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Come on, man. And if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It was a debate.
Free and fair election. You know, that's what happened in Arizona. Free and fair. Breaking. Up to 40% of ballots not counted at polling locations in Maricopa County, Arizona. Nearly 24 polling locations have malfunctioning machines. Free and fair election. Breaking. Chairman at Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, Bill Gatsis, says 20% voting centers are having issues with tabulators. He says the ballot can still be dropped in the box. It will just get centrally tabulated tonight. He says they're working to fix the issue. And let's give a watch, huh?
We've got about 20% of the locations out there where there's an issue with the tabulator, where some of the ballots that after people have voted them, they try and run them through the tabulator and they're not going through. But the good thing is
why didn't they have that
first of
fixed
all, we're
in the
trying to
first-
fix this problem as quickly as possible. And we also
Let's not make
have
sure
a
they work on
redundancy in
election
place.
day.
If you can't put the ballot
Let's
in the
fix them
tabulator,
during the
then you
election.
can simply place it here in where you see the number 3, and this is a secure box where those ballots will be kept for later this evening, where we'll bring them in here to central count to tabulate them.
Fuck you. But hey, free and fair election, huh? Stay in line until your vote is counted. Hard to know if we're seeing incompetence or something worse. All we know right now is that the Democrats are hoping you will get discouraged and go home. Stay in line until your vote is counted. Hey, free and fair election. Latest guidance for Maricopa County voters. If you've checked in at Maricopa County voting location where tabulators don't work, you should not leave and go to another location without casting a vote. Your provisional ballot at new location likely will not count. So where the fuck should they go, huh? Hey, free and fair election. Maricopa County ballots so blotchy from the printer that the scanner could not read them. Free and fair election. Katie Hobbs, who is the person who Kari Lake is running against, in charge of running the election in Arizona today, while on the ballot for governor, and 20% of the voting machines in Maricopa, the state's largest county, are not working. I'm starting to think Kari Lake may have a point about the problems with our elections. Free and fair election. Trump ally Kari Lake loses to Democrat Katie Hobbs in Arizona governor race. The result is a rebuke of Miss Lake, who has peddled the false claim that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. In her victory statement, Ms. Hobbs said that in this moment of division, she would work for everyone in the states. Miss Lake appeared to suggest that the result was incorrect and that some votes for her had not been counted. Free and fair election, though, right? Assistant Attorney General refuses to certify Arizona elections until questions are answered. Arizona Assistant Attorney General Jennifer Wright has said she will not certify the elections between Republican Kari Lake and Democrat Katie Hobbs until she gets answers to the questions surrounding the voting in Maricopa County. Quote, These complaints go beyond pure speculation, but include first-hand witness accounts that raise concerns regarding Maricopa's lawful compliance with Arizona election law. End quote. The Assistant Attorney General said in a letter to top election officials, the Daily Mail reported. But hey, free and fair election, right? Welcome everyone to another episode of the Deplorable Talk Show. You are here with Mr. Deplorable himself, Israel Perez. So this is a show where I will give you my unfiltered opinion on politics and culture. I know nothing about the things I choose to talk about, but this is America, where opinions are just like assholes. Everyone has one. I just choose to spread mine on the internet. So today's show will start off with narcissism and how it plays a role within the liberal mindset in a segment called Today in TikTok. In the big lead, we will talk about a psychopath who made a big announcement, which is a bid for presidency in 2024. Yes, it's going to be a good one. I guarantee you that. But let's make a sacrifice of brain cells to the Chinese deity known as TikTok.
Today in TikTok.
So, this is a segment where I will be showing you the cringe of TikTok. And in my opinion, it's depleting the American mind by letting the worst of us create content. And for those who are unaware, TikTok is a clone of a Chinese app called Douyin. The content on Douyin is full of self-improvement, photography, travel, calligraphy, life hacks, trivia, dance, and of course, adorable dog and cat videos. The content on TikTok is garbage. No, most of the time. No, and here's an example.
So I just saw that Trump is running for president in 2024, and I really want him to win. So I took it upon myself to come up with a couple slogans that he could run his campaign on. These slogans perfectly encapsulate the Republican Party and would really appeal to his voter base. The first one is take from the poor to feed the rich. The second one, profits over people.
Okay.
To be honest, those two could probably be used for either party. Ready for the next one? This one's really fun. Saudi Arabia first or Russia first. Whichever one he uses should be dependent on how diverse his rally crowd looks that day. This one's my favorite. Mawa, make America white again. And a little piece of advice for how Trump can start each rally, because conservatives love patriotic acts no matter how fake they are. He should take a moment of silence for all of the children who have lost their lives so America can keep their gun freedoms. And he can also switch it up for taking a moment of silence for all the grannies who have lost their lives to COVID so we can continue our economy.
Cute. No, she's witty within her cuts. No, I counted 13 cuts. Now, the TikTok is about a minute long, which means she couldn't keep her train of thought on a topic for more than 5 seconds. No, which makes sense because she doesn't know what the fuck she is talking about. Now, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time, but I at least make it look like I do, you know? Now, that's what's wrong with these Gen Zers on TikTok. Now, they all want to be activists. You know, they say things like, oil is bad. We need to get rid of it. But never give a real solution on how to do that. They just complain and try and sound smart. She said his slogan should be Saudi Arabia first or Russia first. Okay. Now, what are you basing that on? Is it because he had good relations with those two countries? Well, as far as I'm aware, that is the purpose of foreign policy. Also, if Trump was simping for Russia and Saudi Arabia, like she claims, he wouldn't have threatened tariffs on both those countries when they were colluding back in 2020 to reduce oil production to raise prices on oil. Now, and if you don't believe me, here's an article. Trump threatens tariffs on oil imports to protect U.S. energy workers. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Saturday he would impose tariffs on crude imports if he has to protect U.S. energy workers from the oil price crash that has been exacerbated by a war between Russia and Saudi Arabia over market share. So, if he put Russia and Saudi Arabia first, I don't think he would be threatening tariffs on them. You want to know who did put Saudi Arabia first? That would be Biden, who practically got on his knees and begged them to keep up oil production so he could look good in the midterms. Just saying. So let's look at another video she made.
What makes a man a better leader? He's far less influenced by emotions. He's far more willing to do what needs to be done for the people over whom he governs than women are. Women are far more likely to allow emotional impulses to govern their judgment, and I think that
You might want to check your facts because history shows the majority of wars have been started by men. 80% of violent crime is committed by men.
That's
90% of all homicides worldwide, again, committed by men. And a whopping 98% of all mass shootings in the U.S. have been committed by men. This dude has forgotten that anger is an emotion, and a particularly dangerous one if it's not managed properly, which is an issue a lot of men seem to have.
Okay. You know, I had to watch that one several times because I was trying to understand her correlation between everything she brought up. She is saying war, homicides, and mass shootings are the outcome of angry, emotional men. I would say her irrational post was made out of anger because a man said women make decisions based on emotion, and that's my opinion. But war is not started over anger. War is started because nations have a dispute between each other. Usually it's because of land, resources, or conflicting ideology. 9 times out of 10, it is usually resources and land is the byproduct. Yes, you can say both sides are angry, but anger is not dictating the conflict. Leaders of a nation or leader chooses to go to war because they have exhausted what they feel are viable options for their nation and now have no choice. To boil that down to one causation as emotional anger is simplifying it. No, to equate war with violent crime is trivial. To boil down violent crime to anger is also simplifying. Yes, anger is involved, but it's a byproduct. The root of violent crime is the lack of morality, not anger. A moral foundation is built by a functioning family unit or community. Yes, something she probably doesn't believe in, which is the nuclear family, which helps build a positive community. And if you don't believe me, here's an article. The Heritage Foundation writes, the real root cause of violent crime, the breakdown of marriage, family, and community. So let's scroll down here. A review of the empirical evidence in the professional literature of the social science gives policymakers an insight into the root causes of crime. Consider, for instance, over the past 30 years, the rise in violent crime parallels the rise in families abandoned by fathers. High crime neighborhoods are characterized by high concentrations of families abandoned by fathers. State-by-state analysis by the Heritage Scholars indicates that a 10% increase in the percentage of children living in a single-parent homes leads typically to a 17% increase in juvenile crime. The rate of violent teenage crime corresponds with the numbers of families abandoned by fathers. So, stepping into even more outlandish territory, comparing war and violent crime to homicides and mass shootings is even more absurd. One, because mass shootings and homicides are the same thing, but those crimes are committed purely out of anger and mental illness. The clip she showed was a person talking about leaders and how good leaders lead on rational thinking, not emotional thinking. Yes, leaders can be psychopaths, and you can argue that psychopathy is a mental illness, but so is narcissism. She sees that her views outweigh what he is trying to say, so ultimately he is wrong, and she tries to prove he is wrong with incomparable statistics to prove her correctness. Do women differ from men in judgment based on rational versus emotion? I don't know. But in my opinion, she is incorrect on everything she presented. There is no basis for what she is saying. There's only what she wants you to see to prove she is correct. Shitty, subjective content. And this was Today in TikTok.
Today in TikTok.
Freedom is strong.
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
So, before we get into the big lead, the title says the Orange Man is back. But don't get it confused with this Orange Man.
Guess who's back? The Orange Man.
The Orange Man.
I am the Orange Man. I'm back. I haven't seen you in a while.
You know, I'm pretty sure that's how most Democrats see Donald Trump. But let's get into the big lead, huh?
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
The Orange Man is back, bitches. In a highly anticipated announcement, Trump said he was running for president in 2024, and I couldn't be more excited. Let's give a listen.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Yeah! There you go. Look at him basking in it. Yeah, baby. That's right. Trump 2024. Exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff. You know, not everyone is excited as me, though. The Lincoln Project writes, tonight, as you watch an orange-smeared circus clown gear up to take another stab at ending our democracy, remember this. When the Republican Party had a choice between Trump or America, they chose Trump over and over again. You know, this is coming from a group who tried to make a super PAC so they could misappropriate funds. Also, the co-founder, John Weaver, was sexually harassing young boys on the internet. Just saying. Mark Hurling tweeted, after watching the Trump announcement, I say this. He is an evil, extremely dangerous man who threatens our democracy and our future. Don't tell me I'm breaching a civil military control protocol. I'm retired now and believe stating this is critically important to our nation. Thanks for your opinion, buddy. But that man is a military analyst for CNN, so basically anything he says is just propaganda. Just saying. Dean Abdullah, I don't know how you say his last name. If your blood is boiling that Trump is announcing his candidacy for presidency despite his coup attempt and role in Jan 6 attack, then you can thank Merrick Garland for his failure to prosecute Trump. Jesus. That you can't prosecute someone if you don't have evidence. Trust me, if Merrick Garland had the evidence of Trump committing criminal acts, he would have already indicted him. It's kind of hard to do it if you don't got evidence. I'm just saying. Now, I want you to look at this fucking Putch's account. He's spray painting, stay active. You know? That's hip, right? That's what the kids are doing. Huh? Gotta stay active. He looks like a generic white dude who beats his wife after he does a couple lines of cocaine in his study. But last but not least, Cenk Uyghur tweeted, I don't agree with the rest of the press. I thought Trump's speech was pretty good. The speech was vicious and full of lies, but it wasn't intended for us. I think it worked for its intended audience, Republican primary voters. It hit all of his successful 2016 campaign themes. Thanks, Cenk. I appreciate your input. I like the new leaf you're turning over. No, it's something I would expect for someone who looks like he would be a general manager of a chain restaurant. So, let's look at these vicious lies Trump was trying to spread in his speech. So, Donald Trump said he built the greatest economy ever.
There was never a time like this. We turned the page on decades of globalist sellouts and one-sided trade deals, lifted millions out of poverty, and together we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. When the virus hit our shores, I took decisive action and saved lives and the U.S. economy. And by October of the same year, America was roaring back with the #1 fastest economic recovery ever recorded.
There we go. So, what are the indicators of a thriving economy? Well, according to the Herald Review, and if they didn't block me out with the paywall, I would be showing their webpage, but Google will have to do. There are 3 indicators economists look at when judging a thriving economy: unemployment, inflation, and GDP. And you can see that it's bolded right there, huh? So, what was the unemployment rate during Trump's administration? Well, according to the Washington Examiner, Trump's average unemployment rate is the lowest in recorded history. So if we scroll down here, we can see a list of presidents starting with Eisenhower. And the reason it starts with Eisenhower is because they didn't start keeping unemployment statistics until 1948. So as we can see from the list, Trump has the lowest unemployment rate out of all the presidents since Eisenhower. Look at that. Trump is sitting at a 3.9%. Greatest unemployment rate in American history? Check. Now, let's look at inflation. According to balancemoney.com, U.S. inflation rate by year from 1929 to 2023. Now, if we scroll down here, it's a little bit down, so forgive me. We can see from 2017 to 2020, during Trump's term, inflation never surpassed 2.3% and never dropped below 1%. We can see. Just in case you don't know, healthy inflation is to keep it within fractions of 2%. And obviously, the golden number is 2%. And in 2017, 2018, and 2019, he did just that. Then COVID happened in 2020, and it dropped it down to a 1.4. But to me, inflation? Check. So how about the GDP? So according to the Heritage Organization, middle class incomes surging thanks to Trump's policies. The latest Census Bureau current population survey data now shows that middle class incomes, after adjusting for inflation, have surged by 5,000 since Donald Trump became president in January of 2017. Median household income has now reached $65,976, an all-time high. People make more money, they spend more money on goods. More demand for goods means more goods get made. Businesses expand because of profit gain. They then create more jobs and economic strength increases. GDP in a nutshell. Check. America is the greatest nation to ever live. And if you are in charge of that nation and produce the greatest economic times ever seen in American history, then yes, Donald Trump built the greatest economy ever. So here's another lie. Well, what they say is a lie. Trump said he filled up the national oil reserve.
For millions of Americans, the past 2 years under Joe Biden have been a time of pain, hardship, anxiety, and despair. As we speak, inflation is the highest in over 50 years. Gas prices have reached the highest levels in history and expect them to go much higher now that the strategic national reserves, which I filled up, have been virtually drained in order to keep gasoline prices lower just prior to the election.
Like how we threw that in there, which I filled up. No, and technically he did. In March of 2020, Trump directed the Department of Energy to start purchasing crude oil so we can start filling up our reserves. Department of Energy executes on direction of President Trump, announces solicitation to purchase crude oil for the SPR to provide relief to American energy industry. At the direction of President Donald Trump of the United States, the Department of Energy, DOE, will fill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR, to its maximum capacity by purchasing 77 million barrels of American-made crude oil. So, Trump was making moves to start filling up the oil reserves. And as we can see from this graph by the U.S. Energy Information Administration, during July, he was starting to do that. It started to spike up in our oil reserves. But Congress stepped in and scrapped that. The Washington Examiner writes, White House defends Democrats who opposed filling oil reserves in 2020. It was a different time. In 2020, the Department of Energy proposed filling the SPR to its maximum capacity by purchasing 77 million barrels of oil at $24 a barrel. The plan was later scrapped by congressional Democrats who called it a bailout for the oil industry. Okay. So what that's saying is we could have had really, really cheap oil, and all the oil that we've been selling to, Europe because of this war that's going on with Ukraine and Russia, we could have been making millions and billions of dollars. Good job, Democrats. And I don't understand how stockpiling oil is bailout for the oil industry, but sure. Since we are talking about the oil reserves, let's pull back up that chart by the Energy Information Administration. So if we look at the little blue dot on the left here, right there, our current stockpile is sitting at its lowest level since 1983. Jesus. At least we can sleep well at night knowing that Ukraine is fighting the good fights in a war they can't win. But hey, it's just my opinion, huh? So let's do one more vicious lie made by Donald Trump in his speech. Trump said, good luck getting a turkey. You're going to pay 3 to 4 times more than you paid last year.
That is why we will launch an all-out campaign to eliminate America's dependence on China. We will bring our supply chains, which are a disaster right now. You can't get anything, and good luck getting a turkey for Thanksgiving. Number one, you won't get it, and if you do, you're going to pay 3 to 4 times more than you paid last year.
Here's the thing. The man likes to embellish a little bit. You're not going to pay 3 to 4 times more, but you're definitely going to pay more for your turkey this year. I like how he threw in a little bit of Americana there, huh? So Yahoo Finance writes, you should expect a whole frozen turkey weighing between 8 to 16 pounds to set you back roughly $1.99 per pound, compared to last year's prices of $1.15. That's a 73% increase, according to CNBC. So, he's not wrong. And what I will say from my experience in working in a butcher shop, usually meat products go up at most 20 to 30% if there's a slight shortage or demand is high. For meat products to shoot up 75%, that's bad. That might as well be 3 to 4 times higher. But hey, what do I know? I'm not an economist. Now, that we have seen some of the vicious lies Donald Trump was saying during his speech, let's end this segment out, huh? I'm super excited that the king is back, and I'm excited to see him regain that mojo, which is undeniable. Now, I don't care who you are or what party you represent. You can't deny Trump's gravitas. The man can speak and he can command a crowd, which is scary if that is your opponent. I understand. And for those who don't understand why people love Trump so much, here's Dave Chappelle to explain why people gravitate toward him.
A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it, because I hear it every day. He's very loved. And the reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. Well, I'm not joking right now. He's an honest liar. That first debate, I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, "This whole system is rigged," he said. And across the stage was a white woman, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, sitting over there looking at him like, "No, it's not." I said, "Now, wait a minute, bro. It's what he said." And the moderator said, "Well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, as you suggest, what would be your evidence?" You remember what he said, bro? He said, "I know the system is rigged because I use it." I said, "God damn." And then he pulled out an Illuminati membership card and chopped a line of cocaine up and did it right.
Jesus.
No one ever heard someone say something that true. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, "This man doesn't pay his taxes." He shot right back. "That makes me smart." And then he said, "If you want me to pay my taxes, then change the tax code. But I know you won't, because your friends and your donors enjoy the same tax breaks that I do." And with that, my friends, a star was born. No one had ever seen anything like that. No one had ever seen somebody come from inside of that house, outside, and tell all the commoners, "We are doing everything that you think we are doing," inside of that house. They just went right back in the house and started playing the game again.
Man, I love Dave Chappelle. I do. I really do. No, and I don't agree with his politics, but hey, nobody's perfect. And this ends the big lead.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use those platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
All right. This is the show, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button and definitely subscribe. If you do subscribe, make sure to ring the bell. I upload episodes weekly, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Audio listeners, you can subscribe too. Thank you for listening. But hey, you know you want to watch the videos we played? You can watch the Deplorable Talk Show on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. You can listen to the Deplorable Talk Show on Spotify, Apple, and Google. I guess you can listen to it on Stitcher, but I mean, who does that, right? You can find links in the description below, or you can head to the deplorableent.com. That is the general hub for all things deplorable. Take care, guys. See you next episode.